Year 5 of Destiny 2. An interesting year for not only the game with the Witch Queen expansion, the seasons of this year were some of the most shocking, to put it lightly. I've heard a lot of people not really liking this year, and if you want me to be honest, like brutally honest, this is probably my overall favorite year of D2 as of now. I actually think the Beyond Light year, despite the rocky start, was one of, if not the best years. So this time there was a lot to prove, and boy did these seasons do it. But which seasons are good, bad, or even in between? Well, I'm here to answer that. I should clarify at the start that all of what I will say and my ranking is all personal opinion. That should be obvious, but this is the Destiny community. This is the same community that got mad because a Titan exotic wasn't going to return, and then we got that exotic trait into an ability. All of that out of the way, my name is Solar, and today we'll rank the Witch Queen seasons from worst to best. In last place, and I really hate putting it here, but something's gotta be last, is Season of the Plunder. For having such a hype start with the trailer during the Lightfall reveal, this season really fell off. It began to show people the repetition of this seasonal model. It doesn't help that the challenges as well were awful. Seriously, 250 ruffian defeats with the average expedition activity spawning in only one. Why? There's also the story, and while I really do appreciate the writing being a lot more lighthearted, it felt like it would go nowhere for the most part. The story had us go against Aramis to find some darkness artifacts, and it always felt like it wasn't sure what it was wanting to lead to in the end. And probably the worst part of this season, the event, where we would help to refurbish the Elixir quarters. It became more of a scam and nothing major was done to the quarters. There's a lot that didn't work with this season, but at the same time, I have so many positives that I want to talk about. First off, the seasonal mode, Catch Crash, is amazing. I don't care how much of a hot take this will be, but this is one of, if not, the best 6-man mode yet. Yes, I'm saying that over Menagerie, fight me. There's great ad density, fun boss fights, and an amazing setting. Seriously, pirate battles with fallen ships is something I did not expect Destiny to ever do. Despite the story feeling lacking, the character interactions really sold it. One of my favorites being Ido asking Spider this question.
Spider, do you have any hatchlings yourself? I see.
Oh yeah, Ido. She is perfect, and if anything happens to her during Lightfall, I will commit mass genocide. Jokes aside, it's great to see other Elixir and how they interact with others, as well as Ido being what I'm guessing the future for what the Elixir can be and where that can lead to in future stories. The weapons and armor are some of the best designs for any season. That cutscene of Osiris waking up is amazing. Kind of ridiculous that all it took was a Nezarec tea, but seeing these two lovebirds reunite is something that just warmed my heart. Finally, the remake of King's Fall is fantastic. Bringing this raid back was a great choice, and as someone who does not care about Destiny 1, I am so happy we're able to play this in the new game. Season of Plunder is a true mixed bag. While this season would show some of the worst and repetition of the seasonal model, it was also one of the best themed seasons we have gotten. And with all my negatives, I hope the devs can do something like this again. Oh, one more thing I forgot to add. Scurvy. He is perfect. Next up is Season of the Risen. For being the season that also launched during Witch Queen, I don't see a lot of people talking about it. This season would be a continuation of the Witch Queen story, where with the help of Kaido and Lord Saladin, we would stop the spread of the Lucent Brood all around our system. The main mode, Psyops, is okay. Nothing bad, honestly. We get to fight the Lucent Hive outside of the Throne World, and I appreciate these are staying and going into the Vanguard Ops playlist, but they were just there. The best thing about Risen was honestly everything else, with the story being the biggest for me. We got to see Crow interact with other characters like Kaido and Saladin, and how they all have different views on what to do. It did lead to Crow making a horrible accident, so that to spare Crow, Saladin would take the consequences and become the first Guardian to be part of the Cabal. We got the weapons as well, like Explosive Personality, Thoughtless, Peace of Mind, and My Sweet, Sweet Sorrow. I love that auto rifle so much. We also got an exotic mission, Vox Obscura. It's a lot more combat focused than other exotic missions, but it was the most fun thing I did recently solo. Seriously, ram one of those interceptors into one of the giant tanks and you will do insane amount of damage. I don't know why you can do that, but you can, and I do it anytime I can. Overall, Season of the Risen was, as Dado says, a season. The story was the biggest highlight. Having a future leader for the Elixir and Plunder was interesting, but Saladin being part of the Cabal could make some interesting stories in the future. There were a lot of really good stuff that happened throughout this season. Nothing crazy, but I think it did a good job with expanding on what's going to happen. And that story cutscene showing what life was like during the Dark Age was perfect. Next choice is going to be kind of controversial, but the second best season is Season of the Haunted. A lot of people really dislike this season, and some have said it's one of the worst seasons. I can very much understand and respect someone who says that they dislike this season, but there is no way someone can say this is just as bad as Worthy or even The Hunt. Some negatives would be that the nightmare containment can get kind of repetitive, especially for seasonal challenges. The actual seasonal weapons were kind of underwhelming, especially their origin traits. And this would be the start of craftable weapons always needing 5 patterns. Last season had some weapons needing 3 patterns. I hate this change. Like, honestly, I hate it. And I hope they go back to at least having 3 patterns to unlock some of the weapons. Okay, now for the positives. Despite the repetition, Nightmare Containment was probably my favorite seasonal mode this year. We got the Opulence weapons back, and despite the fact that most, if not all of them, are mostly PvP based, the Callus mini tool with Incandescent makes it one of the best guns in the game. The story was great too. We got to see what our characters are dealing with their nightmares. Zavala being the most interesting, what his life was like in the beginning and all the guilt he faced, even to this day. Finally, the best thing about this season is the ambition. We got the Leviathan back as a patrol zone, with the royal pools and pleasure gardens having a lot to do, like opening opulent chests, doing some public events, using the scythe, which I want to see return because it's just the best thing to use. Some other great stuff are Callus and Duality. Callus comes back to haunt our characters and tries to become a disciple for the witness, and it works. Duality as well, not just being the best dungeon in the game, like the season, it gives Callus a lot of characterization with what he fears and why he's doing what he's doing right now. Season of the Haunted was a season I will always remember and love. I know people don't like this season, I completely understand that, but I think we shouldn't forget how bold Bungie was to include this kind of content for a season. In first place, we have the last season of the year, Season of the Seraph. The story has us team up with Anna Bray to rebuild Rasputin to help us against the battles coming into the future. The story was the most engaged I was, having to use Clovis' Bray to help us. Of course, the story cutscene would show us how much more evil Clovis was, as if what he hasn't done already shown us how cruel he really is. This season really did a lot. We got Heist Battlegrounds, which really reminded me of the first Battlegrounds we've gotten with how dense the ads are. We get not only some of the coolest looking weapons like the pulse rifle and machine gun, even after the nerf, are still really good, but nothing compares to the Icarus weapons, mainly the SMG, having Feeding Frenzy and Volt Shot. There was also Operation Seraph Shield, a new exotic mission that would help the player explore new spaceships like the one from Deepstone Crypt, and it was such a fun place to platform through. I also think this also confirmed the last city is located in South America apparently. Don't take that like it's truth, I saw that like going around a lot this season. Oh, and the mission led to the best secret in the game, a robot dog.
What the dog doing?
That you can take back to the helm and pet. There is no better reward than this. Revision 0, the new exotic, would be one of the most customizable exotics we have ever gotten. Best thing about this season was the grind. Yes, seriously, I'm not joking. Weapon patterns were a lot easier to acquire, Deepstone Crypt weapons would be craftable, which made them fantastic, and Spire of the Watcher released, making it one of the most fun dungeons in the game. By the way, go check out my video of me talking about Spire of the Watcher, I think it's pretty alright. And as I'm writing this, we just finished up that season finale. Man, that was probably the best finale to a season yet. Season of the Seraph was a great breath of fresh air where it actually rewarded players with playing the game as they would without a tedious grind, and I hope this continues for the rest of the seasons we get in the future. And that's the video. I wanted to make this video once the Seraph story was finished, and I am very glad I was able to do that. Despite how some aspects of this year were not great, I can't wait to see what Bungie will do to hopefully make the seasons better in the future. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you have any thoughts on this year's seasons or what I said about them, let me know in the comments. I'm very curious on what other people would think about this. Anyways, have a great day.